Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nigel Loxley, this is What to Watch, and today we're going to be looking at this, the blue dial Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. Let's get into it. Okay, so firstly we're going to have a close look at the dial and the hands, then move on to the dimensions, the bracelet and the overall wearability, then look at the movement, and then finally we'll summarise with a pros and cons section, so you can make up your own mind if you're looking to buy. Firstly, let me tell you why I chose to purchase this watch. I fell in love with how the thing looks. Then, when I found out how it was well priced, I had to go and try it on. I tried on the smaller 35mm version and the quartz version of this larger 41mm dial, but decided to go for this in the end, as I preferred the size and the texture on the dial on the automatic. Let's have a look at the dial and hands to start with. The dial has a beautiful reverse waffle to it and has an amazing sunburst effect. Depending on the light, the colour goes from a real light, almost sky blue, through to an almost midnight dark blue. There are a number of colour options, but for me this just seemed perfect, as the green and the black were just too dark. The dial is not overly fussy, with just the words Tissot and 1853 above the hands, PRX, the model name, and Powermatic 80, the name of the movement, below the hands, and Swiss made either side of the 6 o'clock position. The date window is framed to match the applied indices, which taper as they get closer to the middle of the dial, and they all match the finishing on the very simple yet very legible hands. This version is 41mm in diameter, but beware. As this is an integrated bracelet, the 41mm diameter is pretty irrelevant with how big this watch is going to wear, as is the lug-to-lug of 44.5, because as the end link that meets the case is fixed and slopes out rather than just going straight down. So the end of the first link is where the watch will start to taper. So this becomes the effectual size of the watch as you look down at it on your wrist, which is around 51mm. It's only 11mm thick though, so it's going to slip under a shirt cuff nice and easy. At this price of £565, the quality of the case finishing is incredible. At this value in the market, this is where most watches fall short, but this is excellent. The central part of the case comes with a consistent brushing, which matched perfectly that of the bracelet. The other surfaces, including the bezel and the beveled edge, are superbly polished. That brings us nicely onto the bracelet, which was what first attracted me to the PRX in the first place. The bracelet and the case are integrated, so it's great that the finishing on both is identical. The links of the bracelet are brushed, but the inside of the links are polished, which gives an incredible looking wrist roll as the light catches and reflects off the different finishes. The clasp is a butterfly one, with no micro adjustment at all, and even though the links are small, unless you are lucky enough to have the correct size wrist for the number of links you might find, this is difficult to size. I struggle with this watch to get it just right. Usually I wear watches tight and above the wrist knuckle, but if I take any more links out, this is too tight, so I have to wear this one loose and over the knuckle, more like a bracelet or a bangle than a watch. And that brings me on to the other issue with this bracelet. Because I wear it loose, if I'm doing anything other than standing up with my arm by my side, it does move up and down my arm, and the inside edge of the bracelet is pretty sharp, so sometimes it's a bit uncomfortable as it moves around. You need to bear this in mind when buying, that as an integrated watch you'll be limited for options with regard to changing the strap. There is a quick release spring bar on the inside of the watch, which can be a bit tricky to access, and you can buy a leather alternative from Tissot, but I've tried one with a rubber strap which comes from a company called Deluxe, which was launched a few weeks ago. For a few days, Instagram was full of images of them from various content creators, and I was lucky enough to know one of the guys who was doing some shots for them. You instantly get rid of the problem of the first link being fixed, and with it being a very soft rubber, it goes straight down, so you get back to that 46mm lug to lug rather than the true 51mm if you include the first link. But then you lose the awesome look of the bracelet. So it's your call. As this watch is pretty much all about how it plays with the light, it's a good job that it has a really good raised sapphire crystal on top, so visibility of that beautiful dial and handset are great all the time. The P and R stands for precision and robust, while the X, being the Roman numeral for 10, refers to the 10 atmospheres of depth the watch can achieve, or 100 meters of water resistance in plain English, which is a bit of a letdown. It's important to point out here that there is no screw down crown, it's just a simple push-pull, so why won't we swimming in mine? The movement in this version is an automatic, which you can see through the display case back. It hacks and hand winds, and the key thing to know here is that it has a power reserve of 80 hours, meaning that if this is your watch you like to wear for work during the week in the office, you can take it off on a Friday night when you get home, wear your beater all weekend, and it'll be still going and not need resetting Monday morning when you're ready to put it back on. Right, okay, to summarise, here are the pros and the cons. Firstly, the pros. It's a great value at less than £600. It has a great looking dial, great case and bracelet finishing, and an 80-hour power reserve. And the cons. There's not enough adjustability in the bracelet has a sharp interior, and the first fixed link means it wears very large. My honest opinion though, this is an absolutely fantastic watch for the money. I would recommend buying one of these if you're either looking for your first Swiss-made automatic, or if you already have many watches and are looking for something that scratches that George Genta style 70s or 80s sports watch without breaking the bank on a Royal Oak or a Vacheron 222. Okay guys, that's enough from me for today. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you're ever struggling with what to watch, just keep an eye out for another one of my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to see more watch related content like this. See you next time.